Good morning. Welcome to East Rose Fellowship. Everyone online and here in the chapel as well. Before I go any further, don't forget to silence your cell phones. We're happy you've chosen to join us this morning. I'm Phyllis Adams, your worship leader today. Our speaker is Reverend Suzie Matranga-Watson. Reverend Suzie has been a member of East Rose Fellowship Unitarian Universalist for over 30 years. She was ordained and installed in 2000 as the first community minister in East Rose's history. She's enjoying retirement after 25 years as a chaplain in health care and prison settings. Her sermon today is titled, Searching and Finding Hidden Treasures Within Ourselves. East Rose acknowledges that for at least 13,000 years, many tribes and bands have made their lives here, where our church home and our communities now exist. We remember and honor these people who made their homes in this land, the ones here now and those who lived here before. In peace, we share this land and honor one another. Let's take a moment now and greet each other here today, both in the chapel and online. Please stand and face the cameras by the clock on the back wall and wave hello to our friends online. Next, turn to your neighbors and say hello. To interrupt such a fun conversation, but we can get back to it after the service. For our online guests, if you would like to share a joy or sorrow during that portion of the service, you can do so by entering it in the YouTube chat, and those will be shared aloud with everyone. I also encourage you to identify yourself in the chat so that we may better acknowledge your presence with us today. Our call to worship, come gather light to build. Come together again, gather in love, light the fire of hope. Build the foundation. A blue flame emitting red sparks. Commit together again. Gather in truth. Light the fire of freedom. Build the entryways. Continue together again. Gather in community. Light the fire of the future. Build the shelter. Our chalice lighting today, Light of Our Creative Spirit, words by Tracy Johnson. We light our chalice this morning, light of our creative spirits, light of our wise souls, light of our wondering and curious minds, light of love for this place, this people, this work. Illuminate our hearts and the spaces between them in this sacred time of unfolding.
The opening words are from Leah Onguri, Weavers of One Story. Here we are together, each facing our difficult human tasks, or maybe the same central one, to embrace the lessons life delivers, to discern and respond as we grow, to refuse harm and cherish flourishing. May we know ourselves as vessels of infinite possibility, holders of each other's heartaches and tales of joy alike. Weavers of one story in which we each have a part. Please rise in body and spirit and sing hymn 1007 in the teal hymnal, and the words will be on the screen also.
And now we have the story for all ages.
So sometimes we humans have a tendency to search far and wide for meaning and answers when what we need may be right here in front of us or inside of us. That's what today's story, The Treasure, is all about. It's a retelling of a very old story about a man who both trusts his intuition, or his inner knowing, and has the wisdom to understand where the greatest rewards really lie. It's told and illustrated by Yuri Shulevitz, The Treasure. There once was a man, and his name was Isaac. He lived in such poverty that again and again he went to bed hungry. One night he had a dream. In his dream, a voice told him to go to the capital city and look for a treasure under the bridge by the royal palace. It is only a dream, he thought when he woke up, and he paid no attention to it. The dream came back a second time, and Isaac still paid no attention to it. When the dream came back a third time, he said, "Maybe it's true," and so he set out on his journey. Now and then someone gave him a ride, but most of the way he walked. He walked through forests, he crossed over mountains. Finally, he reached the capital city. But when he came to the bridge by the royal palace, he found that it was guarded day and night. He did not dare to search for the treasure, yet he returned to the bridge every morning and wandered around it until dark. One day, the captain of the guards asked him, "Why are you here?" Isaac told him the dream. The captain laughed. "You poor fellow," he said. "What a pity you wore your shoes out for a dream. Listen, if I believed the dream I once had, I would go right now to the city you came from, and I'd look for a treasure under the stove in the house of a fellow named Isaac." And he laughed again. Isaac bowed to the captain and started on his long way home. He crossed over mountains. He walked through forests. Now and then, someone gave him a ride, but most of the way he walked. At last, he reached his own town. When he got home, he dug under his stove, and there he found the treasure. In thanksgiving, he built a house of prayer, and in one of its corners, he put an inscription: "Sometimes one must travel far to discover what is near." Isaac sent the captain of the guards a priceless ruby, and for the rest of his days he lived in contentment, and he was never poor again. We can learn many things from this story: to pay attention to our inner knowing, to never give up, and most importantly, that we're each inherently valuable and have our own treasures to find and share. And now Reverend Suzie and the adults will continue this conversation while we go explore our classroom. If the adults along the center aisle would like to form a bridge, we can sing the children out.
We're going to sing hymn 1059. It is in the teal hymnal, and the words will be on, oh, there they are, on the screen. Mary will play it once, and then we'll sing it twice.
Our reading this morning is Journey Again by Vijay Shirigar. At times in our journey, we reach a place with a lot of greenery, lovely place to stay for long, good people to be with for life.
But when the seasons changes and the wind changes direction, we need to set out on our own journey again, to journey that never concludes.
As I stand looking as far as I could see in the direction of road ahead, series of events roll down my memory lane, and tears drop from my eyes, and a question arises. Is it all worth the challenges ahead?
But in the end, you need to win over your emotions, win over your doubts, and continue the journey again in the direction of the sun.
As you pursue the journey again, guarding against all odds, putting all your learning in practice, ensuring mistakes not repeated, dreams are achieved.
But you know that life has in store new lessons to teach you and new places to take you. So loosen your belts, set your wings far and wide, and let the winds take you to places. One thing that the COVID pandemic taught me is that I do not always have control over my plans. What a concept. I am sure you have experienced the same thing. So if plan A doesn't work, then look for plan B. Sometimes plan B won't work. If you go all the way to plan Z and no luck, it is time to scrape the whole thing. I had planned on retiring in 2022, but there were things I wanted to do at my work, and COVID had put a lot of those ideas and plans on the back burner. So I took another year before I retired in April of 2023, hence Plan B. Now, I love my work, my ministry and chaplaincy, and I know I was really blessed to be able to pursue my dream of being a minister. Not everybody can work in a job that they love and fulfills them in so many ways. As I said, I love my work, but it was time to go after 25 years. It was time to explore the next creative adventures that awaited me. It was time to find my desires, my hidden treasures, and my creativity. So I seriously thought, planned, evaluated, meditated, and examined how the next journey would evolve. First, I attended a Zoom meeting, a week-long seminar in 2021 offered by the Unitarian Universalist Association, the UUA. The seminar was for religious leaders who are contemplating retirement. I received a lot of good information and ideas, But one question that stuck with me was this: when I retire, then I will fill in the blank. Think about it. What about you? For those who are already retired, or for those who have many, many years before you retire, what are your aspirations? Think. Fishing, camping, spending more time with grandchildren or children, traveling, gardening, reading, seeing more movies, learning to paint or work with crafts, play an instrument, take singing lessons. How about visiting friends and family who are not local? Volunteering, getting involved with politics. The list is endless. Now, again, let's take a moment and think about your goals and your dreams. So what is stopping you from doing them now? Oh, you may say time and money, family or job obligations. Yes, those are valid reasons. But it may be fear that keeps all of us from finding our hidden treasures and living a more creative life. In Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Big Magic, Creating Living Beyond Fear, she lists some fears that may be applicable. You are afraid you have no talent. You are afraid you'll be rejected or criticized or ridiculed or misunderstood, or worst of all, ignored. You're afraid of upsetting your family of what may come out. You're afraid you're too old to start. You're afraid you're too young to start. You're afraid you don't have the right kind of training or degree. And so on, and so on, and so on. It's scary. According to Gilbert, and I quote, "It's all scary having those thoughts." Gilbert answers with, "But life is short and rare and amazing and miraculous, and you want to do interesting things. Share interesting things with others while we're still here. And you have treasures hidden within you. And bringing those treasures to life takes work, faith, focus, courage, and devotion. And the clock is ticking, and the world is spinning, and we simply do not have the time anymore to think so small." End quote. So how does one tackle those scary thoughts and get beyond them to start doing things you yearn to do? First, let's break it down. When I was in the process to be a minister, it seemed insurmountable. Being a minister was a dream I had when I was a young child. I was raised Catholic, but I was going to be a priest no matter what. Just had to find the right religion. Life did not give me the opportunity to seriously look at my dream until I was 40. I had job commitments. I had family to look at. It took 5 years of hard work to obtain a dual master's, pastoral care training, emotional self-assessments, reading, writing, evaluations, internships, peer reviews, receiving church sponsorship. Thank you, East Rose. Before going before the credentialing bodies, installation, ordination, and chaplain board certification. Phew! Was it scary knowing I needed to do all that to be a UU minister? Heck, yeah, it was. Because I had several of those fears that Gilbert listed running in my head. But I was going to be a minister. So I slowly went through the requirements needed, trying not to get overwhelmed by looking at the long list that still needed to be done, but rather focusing on what I was doing at that particular moment. And guess what? Those years passed, and suddenly I was a minister and a board-certified chaplain. and now 25 years of working as a chaplain have passed. So let's get back to your list. When I retire, then I will blank. And break them down to manageable and totally achievable steps. Going through my list, fishing and camping. Who says you have to go away for a week for a fishing trip? How about picking one day a month, like the second Saturday, and go fishing? How about scheduling a camping trip for every 6 weeks to a place close to your house so you don't have to spend so much time driving? Or go on day trips to the beach, a park, the mountains. Put those dates on your calendar and then do it. Gardening and reading. Pick a specific time to allow yourself 1 hour a week or an hour a day, whatever works for you. And remember this, it is important because it is for you. So do it. Work on crafts, take music lessons. You get the point. It does not need to be weeks or many hours to fulfill those dreams. You can start working on your dreams while you're living your life now. So after my UUA retirement seminar, I looked at some of my goals and my dreams. And camping was on the list. Well, we started going once a month to a different place for a weekend. Sometimes camping in a yurt, sometimes in a tent. This was before we had our camper van. Sometimes it was a motel, an Airbnb, or it was a day trip to someplace interesting. And it was fun and exciting and relaxing. What a great way to restore your soul. The next year, I went away by myself to Brighton Bush Hot Springs Retreat Center for a few days to read, relax, and think about what was next. It was in October of 2022. And at that time, we were having a heat wave, and it was in the hundreds. My plan of soaking in the hot springs at Brighton Bush was not a reasonable option. So then came Plan B, reading, contemplating, writing, and sitting in the cold river or soaking in a claw-fit tub filled with cold river water. During those 4 days, I journaled using a book called Welcome Home, Life After Healing, Following Your Soul's Journey Home by Sandra Ingerman. People can look at this after the service. At Brighton Bush, what became very clear to me was that I wanted more fun, joy, and creativity in my life. While soaking in the tub, I was surrounded by orange dragonflies. When I returned home, I looked up orange dragonflies, which, surprisingly enough, are not very common. They represent joy, wellness, and creativity, all of which I was searching for. Magic comes in many forms. We just have to be open for it. The experience motivated me to research dragonfly designs, and then I had an orange dragonfly tattooed on my upper arm. She is my reminder to look for joy and embrace my creativity. Also, during my quest for more fun in my life, I decided to go by the name of Suzie. Many of people here at East Rose know me as Sue or Susan, but it was Suzie with a Z. It's much more fun than the responsible or sensible Sue or Susan. But if you call me that, I will respond to you, I promise. Now, I'm not saying you need to change your name or get a tattoo to search for your creativity, but maybe you will. Maybe you won't. Who knows? According to Chrissy Grace, author of Tiles Gone Wild, a book about mosaics. By the way, I do not have that with me. It was a library book, and I had to return it. She says, inspiration is what provides us with the innate desire to create. I believe that everyone has a desire to create something, whether it's a novel, a delicious pie, a comfortable home, or an innovative product. End of quote. So how does someone find hidden treasures if they can't go on a retreat or they can't go on a seminar? Chrissy Grace has these suggestions. I urge you to record your inspirations. Try writing them down, your thoughts, make a list of things that you are grateful for, and sketch out your ideas. Claim a space for yourself, even if it's a closet or a small corner where you can create. Hang up a bulletin board and turn it into an inspiration board. Hang photos and quotes, magazine articles, fabric swatches, anything that sparks your imagination. Have faith in your inspiration. It's the journey, not the destination. Don't be disappointed if a piece doesn't work out like you planned. You will learn something with every project you tackle. Everything in life is progress, including you. End of quote. Ironically, or maybe magically, I had started doing several of her suggestions even before I read her book. Then I received the gifts from Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Big Magic, Creating Living Beyond Fear. Now, many of you may have read Gilbert's bestseller, Eat, Pray, and Love. Big Magic is nothing like that book. So if you choose to read Big Magic, throw away any of the feelings you may have had from Eat, Pray, and Love, because my understanding, what I have heard from people, is you have a mixed feeling about that book. I was drawn to Big Magic because of the title included, Creative Living Beyond Fear. I had read or heard somewhere that we all make decisions in our lives based on two things, love or fear. And I was wondering, had I used fear to sabotage my goal of living with my creativity? Had my fear caused me not to explore my artist self and search for joy in my life? So I dove into her book. She has the book broken down in 6 chapters: courage, enlightenment, enchantment, permission, persistent, trust, and divinity. Now, I'm not going to go over every chapter. That's enough for a sermon for each of those. But I will share some tidbits that author Ben McEvey shared from his reading of Big Magic. Number 1, you don't need permission to be creative. Human beings have been creative for a very long time. When you investigate your creativity, you are communicating with a part of your humanity that is universal and timeless. Number 2, you don't need a moral purpose to be creative. Creating something for fun, something you like, is a good enough reason in itself to create. Don't put a deadline on your dreams. Sometimes we need to look at the bigger picture. One might have a job that supports your creativity rather than force your creativity to support you. Now, what does that mean? That means like you're going to quit your job. You're going to quit your job and I'm going to be an artist and I'll live on my paintings, knowing that you have all sorts of bills to pay and who knows if anybody's going to buy your painted rocks anyway. So keep your job and do your creativity when you can. Done is better than good. You need to be comfortable with imperfections. Gilbert is quoted as saying, "I never promised the universe I would be a great writer. Damn it, I've just promised the universe I would be a writer." The next tidbit, and this was surprising to me, don't follow your passion. Follow your curiosity. Passion can be intimidating and out of reach at times. Curiosity asks one question: is there anything you're interested in? Curiosity has the power to develop into passion. And number 6, you will fail. Failure is a part of the journey. The right approach to failure is to move on to the next creative project and throw your whole soul into it. Now, I've always wanted to be an artist. My father, grandmother, grandfather, and my dad's brother, my uncle, all had artistic skills: painting, mosaics, ceramics, drawing, woodworking, and designing. I thought surely my DNA carried the artist gene. How could I find my creativity? What sparked my creativity? And more important, am I even creative? Over the years, I've tried different medias to a limited success, and to be honest, I hated doing some of them. Fiber art, weaving, sewing, knitting, crocheting. On top of that, I was terrible and had no skill. Now, don't come to me after the service and say, "Oh, I can teach you to crochet. I can teach you to knit." I've had many talented teachers try, and they all failed. So I started thinking about what I could do while I was still working, and not require a lot of energy or time. I got interested in paint by numbers. Now, this is not paint by numbers of my youth that looked really horrible, but the outcome looked like paintings by a real artist. And during the process of painting, I have learned a lot. I have painted several beautiful paintings, and more important, it's fun. I can paint for hours or spend 20 to 30 minutes. I enjoy it, and the result gives me satisfaction. And I was embarrassed to say this in front of everyone, that I paint by numbers, but you know what? The heck with it. In the future, I will look at taking a painting class, but right now I'm happy doing this type of painting. I've looked at mosaics, card making, crafts, and garden projects. All sounds exciting and fun, and who knows what the results will be. So, what are the hidden treasures you possess, which are just waiting to be explored and found out? We are all creative. What gives you joy? Don't let fear stop that process of enriching your life. Take it in baby steps if you need to. It's a good way to go. Be curious, because you do not know where your passion will lead you. Be open to magic in your journey. Happy treasure hunting. Amen and blessed be. Our closing hymn, Please Rise in Body and Spirit, is 1019 in the teal hymnal. Everything is possible. The words are on the screen.
You may be better off following the hymnal than the screen. It just keeps going in one long string. Then when you get to the end, you flip back to the second page at the top and we do that little section again. Good luck.
The offering that we take each Sunday isn't just a stale habit. It's an opportunity to recommit to this place and to this people. Our offering is an affirmation, a yes. When we give, we say yes to something we value. With our gifts freely given, may we say yes to the values of our faith. Half of each week's Sunday collection is shared with a local nonprofit. This quarter, we are sharing the basket with Snowcap, Community Charities, a philanthropic organization created to provide food, clothing, advocacy, and other services to the poor. If you attend online, you may donate by visiting our website and clicking the donate button, or you can scan the code on the screen. If you're a first-time visitor, please let the basket pass you by. You are our guest today. We now gratefully receive the gifts of this congregation. Like the flame of the chalice, may the flame in our hearts burn, remaining unextinguished. May it ignite our energies, our drive, our resolve to dream, to build, and live into the world that good which exists. For now, only in our imagination.
The benediction is from Eric Williams, and it's "Blessed is the path. Blessed is the path on which you travel. Blessed is the body that carries you on it. Blessed is your heart that has heard the call. Blessed is your mind that discerns the way. Blessed is the gift that you will receive by going. Truly blessed is the gift that you will become on the journey. May you go forth in peace.
Thank you, Mary. That was lovely. And I want to thank everyone else who made this such a wonderful service. Reverend Suzie and Dakota in the back, our greeters and our coffee maker who's getting ready to bring the coffee in, and our lovely congregation. I have a few announcements. Winterfest sign up. It's really important that you sign up so that we know how many tables we'll need. And also, if you are going to purchase any of the baked good goodies, then you'll need to bring either cash or a check. Choir. The choir startup is today, right after the service. Hiking. This week is hiking at Cooper Mountain Nature Park. For those intrepid hikers, see Larry Adams for details. On March 2nd, we have the East Rose Yard Cleanup, as well as that morning, worship leader training for worship leaders. I think that's all the announcements I have. There are a few more in the petals, so please read your petals. The service is now ended. If you're attending online, exit YouTube and connect to Cafe Conversations via Zoom. Those here at East Rose are invited to remain, have some coffee, and catch up on that visiting that you didn't get to do during greeting time. And we hope to see you all next week. Bring a friend.